a lot of people churches.
We're talking about funerals. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I guess I had to put an introduction in there. Go ahead, Mr. Greg. You were at your father's funeral.
I was at my father's funeral, yes. And like I said, my father knew a lot of people. He worked at the high school, so he knew a lot of the kids at the high school.
Wow.
You know, so we were there, and a friend of mine, Joe, came up to talk to me. He was a year younger. He was a year younger than me, but he was also in the band.
Okay, did you grow up with them, or you just knew him from
well, he
school?
went to a different elementary school
Oh, okay.
than I did, but we were at the same high school.
Mm-hmm.
So but he was at the funeral. He had come to the funeral.
That was nice.
It was. I was very touched that Joe came. And we were talking about things, and I asked him what he was doing, and come to find out, he was working with my aunt, my mother's youngest sister, on a project in our parish.
Now, parish, that means county. That doesn't mean church parish.
No.
He's from Louisiana. They don't have counties. They have parishes. Okay,
So
go
he
ahead.
was working with my aunt in the parish. I think it was just the one that we grew up.
Check it out. Look at that F-35, man.
Look at it.
Bad to the bone.
Yep.
You know they're flow by eye command. They don't have a throttle. It's all done by eye command voice. But anyways, go ahead.
And what he was doing is that he was compiling stories from, in times past from people. And I told him, I said, well, you need to go and speak to my grandmother, my mother's mother, and tell my aunt, that I, talk to my aunt about it. Because my grandmother would tell me, because my grandmother's first language was French.
French.
It was not English, it was French.
You know, I know one French word. Je means I. Je. Il habite? Did you say il habite?
No, I told him, I said, you ought to go and talk to my grandmother, because I've been talking to her and she's been telling me stories about her early childhood life.
Man, that must be fascinating.
But it was all in French, because she knew it in French. She didn't know it in English.
Wow,
But I
man,
thought
yeah.
wouldn't that be an awesome
Check out
thing
that F-35, man.
to capture these stories in the native tongue of when they happen, and to capture these stories from these people, how did they grow up, what was life like in
Where'd he go, man? Where'd the F-35 go?
I don't know, there's an ambulance. Yeah, no, it's slowing down. Okay.
So your grandmother's stories were in French.
That's correct. And I told Joe that he should go and talk to my grandmother and get her to tell him stories, because she told me some stories, from when growing up and what
In
happened.
French. So you can't tell me the story because you don't know French.
Well, she translated them into English. I can tell you the stories what she told me in English, but they were funnier in French. to her.
Oh, funnier? Yeah,
They were
yeah.
funnier in French.
Why?
Because that's what she knew them. She knew them in French. She didn't know them in English. I mean, she translated them, but because she'd be just rolling, she'd be laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing about the story. She could hardly get the story out. And then when she would translate it, it was like, oh yeah, that was funny.
Oh, because you probably think about it, yeah.
Because it's just funnier in the native tongue than it is in English.
Yeah, I don't speak another language, so I don't really understand all that.
And
I know that.
understand a little bit.
Huh?
I understand a little bit, but not enough to really carry on a conversation.
When I'm around somebody that speaks another language, there's a lot of... That's a universal language.
But anyway, he never did. Joe never did go and talk to her. She passed away about 2 weeks later. Or a month or something.
Oh, your mother died?
My grandmother.
Oh, your grandmother. Wow.
Yeah,
Was
well,
that
my
her
mother
son?
didn't. No.
Oh, that was your mother's mother?
My mother's mother.
That's a mouthful, ain't it? Mother's mother? Yeah. You're a brother of the mother's mother.
Yeah.
That can go long, can't it?
Well,
Yeah, that would be a chain. I'm the sister of the brother of the
you're a
mother,
brother
mother,
from
father's
another
father, brother,
mother.
mother's brother. Man, that's pretty wild, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I can talk about funerals.
Oh, yeah?
You know, I used to be an altar server, and I'd go to funerals, and I don't know where I got this in my brain, or how this started to happen, but I go to my dad's funeral, and they gave me the cross that was in his casket, the crucifix.
So, yep.
And so, wow, so I thought that was kind of weird. You know, I got the crucifix from my dad's casket. But I didn't wait to die to give it to my son. I went ahead and gave it to him ahead of time. Because I know he'd be freaking out probably if I gave him.
I've never heard of that.
You know what I mean? Well, the reason that you give the crucifix to your son out of your casket, it's because it's the last thing you could do to point them the way to eternity with them. Say, son, this is the way. This is the way. I'm telling you, I'm dying. And the last thing I'm doing is telling you, this is Jesus. Go to the cross with your life. But to me, with funerals, that's what it's always meant about. Even my grandfathers went here, and they would give you that cross. So I bought my grandsons 2 crucifixes for their room because their grandfather, I don't know why he doesn't go to church. But you know, he just don't go to church. I guess somebody has set him because, you know, the church has done a lot of things to hurt a lot of people. And all I can say is I'm sorry. I'm sorry that church hurt. I get my feelings hurt all the time in church. It's not easy being around people that you think that you love and then they do you dirty. But that's just life. You know, there's no guarantees. So that's what I get from funerals. And I like singing at St. Sylvester's. We have this thing called a resurrection choir. And it's so beautiful that we go and we sit and we sing a song of joy to these people's lives. And it's very fulfilling for me to be in the resurrection choir. I really love it. And they have that song at the end. It's, what's that song, the farewell song? The farewell song? Oh, man. It usually, the song of farewell. Then they have the Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how great thou art. Hey, don't be afraid, man. God bless you.